Like where did
She has an
she's so
interesting
blessed.
voice.
It's not kawaida.
It's different. It's not kawa.
My favorite song of hers is Bukicho. Bukicho, Bukicho. Oh my gosh! Now that's the song that does it for me.
Yeah. And interestingly, we had doctors who are looking at our voices on Wednesday.
I saw that.
And apparently, it was very scary to actually see that your vocal cords literally open like this and close. But anyway, apparently all of us can sing. That was a good news.
All of us can sing. Are you sure?
Apparently we all have a good voice. All you need to do is find your range. So once you find your range, and I'm saying that because Fena, she has a different kind of voice. It would be, I'm sure if she tried to sing some of those
Mariah Carey notes,
it might not work. But this particular song, Julie, what do you think of the song?
I love it, and I think she raps as well. She's very soulful. She's kind of very jazzy, soulful, kind of Afro funky stuff going on there as well, and she's very confident. And also her style is kind of very laid back. She's not like too flashy. She's got the ngomas on and stuff, so she's kind of earthy. I just like her.
Adhiambo, your take on the song. Jabulani, I believe is a name, South African name, which means happy or
it's happy or celebration, which of course it's quite nice. I like the artist. I have had a moment to listen to a lot more of her work, and also I met her in person during one of those interesting times. She was launching something, I think at K1 at some point, and her rap, she fuses. She's the one who would call a quasi. What she does there is called, in musical terms, that's quasi falando, like as if speaking. What is quasi falando? As if talking, like spoken words. Caesar's talk to us in English. I just had to. And that style is what puts her apart from everybody else. And then when she puts together her laid back now fashion style, then it's one of those things you want to listen to, like probably just doing nothing, cruising somewhere.
So you just relax. And of course she also refers to what I call the three little monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And in case you wondered where those monkeys are, because Zinzi was looking at me like I'm talking
about monkeys? I thought you were calling us monkeys.
What do you call it? The emojis?
Yes, they're there.
They're there. And that's why they're monkeys. It's not by mistake. It's a story about three little monkeys. Yes.
It's a story that actually exists.
Yes, it is a story that exists. Why do you think they're monkeys?
I don't know, I just thought it's just like monkeys out of the entire animal kingdom. They're like, monkey monkeys. Why monkeys? I don't know. It's an actual story.
There's actually a story that goes on, and you're supposed to teach your children, and our child here, of course, would be Zinzi. Hear no evil, speak no evil, and
say no, speak, hear,
speak.
Do? No, see. Speak, see, and hear.
There you go.
No.
So in case you wondered why there is that emoji,
and eat bananas,
the three little monkeys. The three little monkeys. Anyway, moving on now, and of course, very sad that the news that you wake up to this morning is Prince, who of course was in the 80s, was one of the biggest names in terms of music. In fact, at some point, I think there were him and Michael Jackson were the biggest sellers, especially of black musicians.
I feel like for Prince, it's like on a higher level, because kind of Prince made that leeway for Michael Jackson at that time. Black music wasn't played so much, and when it was played, it was it's the Michael or Prince. And Prince I felt like he laid the platform, and yes, there was a point where they were competing together, but I feel like Prince really laid out that platform for him. I mean, he's won Grammys, 13 nominations. That's what you're saying. Back in the 80s, he was a big deal. I mean, President Barack Obama referred to him as an icon.
Absolutely. And typically, like they do in the US, the minute they got the news, they were out there, vigil and singing his songs. One of those being Purple Rain.
Yes. Then you saw the rainbow, the rainbow that actually came out.
I think Mike, I spoke with you immediately. This news broke, and very many people, I'm sure those who are watching right now, are just wondering, okay, Prince, who that was.
Actually, there was a conversation on WhatsApp where there was someone asking Prince who, and there's also
the Prince of where?
There's the Prince who's done You Must Calculate. He's called Prince something, which I didn't know.
I'm learning this now.
Anyway, the interesting bit, I think some of the facts that we need to understand about this particular artist is just how totally, we just talked about how to be different and how to define your style. This was the one guy who changed how it is that you look at pop.
And black music.
Yes. Because he was 5'2". He was a small man. He's a little person, just like me. Right? That's why he draw comparisons. No, he put together. He could wear palms.
Yes.
You know, like this is a guy who wears palms. Like even if it's on flip flop, then there'll be palms on top of it. And this is a guy who, even if you went to interview as a reporter, then you didn't take photos of him. Oh, really? And your cell phone had to be off.
Yes.
This is a guy that, if you know, he was a Jehovah Witness, by the way.
Oh, was he?
Yes, and he would go door to door. So the interesting bit about this guy is there are 1,000 other things that he set pace about.
Yes.
Not only just the music, but the whole life and how he was.
It's so sad we've lost a great icon. I mean, he was found unconscious in an elevator. The cops were called, so like around by 7:30, if I'm not wrong, they pronounced him dead. And get this, last week it's when he also performed.
A book.
Yeah, he launched a book. And then he also performed again.
So
in
of course it's
Atlanta.
very mysterious circumstances that he's died under, but of course we don't know yet what it was.
Yeah, an autopsy should be released at least by today. I mean, when America wakes up to Friday, they should have an autopsy released.
Yeah, so we should have that. Another still on sad news is the wrestler.
China. Joanne Laura. She died on Wednesday. Has apparently, when the LA cops came, they definitely said there was no foul play, but they're saying it could be an overdose. And you've got to remember, she came
steroids. I would think. Because then she was
really big. She was a wrestler. But then they were saying it was an overdose. And you've got to remember, she came from a family where her parents were alcoholics. She also came into that. In her documentary, she talked about how she kind of battled with the drugs. So for her, and she, at a young age, 45, 46. Yeah.
And of course with the body that she, like the kind of body she had, you'd expect that she has longevity. The only thing is, again, to gain that body, hopefully she was doing it legitimately rather than
on the steroids. That was another sad one. But we also lost somebody else. I'm sure all of us watched Everybody Loves Raymond. The mom in that.
Oh, she died.
Yes, died.
And then another person who just died, I think, this morning is Percy Sledge. When a man loves a woman.
Oh no.
What is happening this week? And it's like they're all following each other because it was Wednesday, Thursday, and then today.
It's like the end of some kind of era. Maybe there was some kind of creative.
Which is really, really sad. But of course, we pray for their families and may they rest in peace. And well, let's move to better news, because that was a somber way to start. But anyway, we needed to mention that. And coming back now home, I don't know what stood out for you in terms of what was hot. According to, let me just see, there is somebody who sent me a tweet here, and he says that this is Brian. He says that waiting for hot topics. What stood out for me this week was Shujaa Sevens rugby, and of course, I know many of us are probably still doing the dance.
Oh yeah. It was a happy day.
After the selfies,
No, the interesting bit for me, I think that was interesting. However, the tweets that followed, the political tweets that followed.
Oh my God, don't get me started on that.
Me?
Our politicians, safaris, World Cup. I'm like, what is this? That was just called Kenya. I don't know what.
No, but let's face it. Let's be honest. Rugby is not that widely followed in Kenya. Maybe after this it is going to be.
I don't think so. I follow rugby more than football.
You do, but the majority don't.
But remember in it, the men, like
the cherry on top, or with a short.
So what's the game? That thing they do goes
around, hitting each other. I think that's very entertaining.
What things are you talking about? Mike, help us. What goes on
in the game? Well, this is an opportunity. and since she follows it so much, but anyway, what happens is that this with the sevens especially, I prefer sevens by the way to 15 aside, but with the sevens, of course, you have these grown men who are chasing and running with this ball, and like my son was asking me, rugby doesn't make sense because you throw the ball backwards.
It's
forward. Yeah, you throw it backwards, and you are not allowed to throw it forward. So that also makes the game exciting because for you to get to that try line, it means you've really, like we call it in rugby, gained ground.
So you throw it back, then you run forward.
Then you run forward.
Yes.
And when you run forward, it makes perfect sense.
So you must fall.
Yeah.
So it's not a must you fall, but that's the classic way to do a try. Like OU did
like dropping the mic. So now this thing that Injera was doing, that he's been given a trophy for. I think so he fell the more times.
No, he hit the ball. It went 50 meters.
Oh dear. But so we celebrated him for what?
Who?
See,
India,
because he scored many goals. or
India
something.
currently is number 2 in ranking in terms of how many tries he has made. The person who's holding the record is at 230 tries.
So he's almost.
He's only 6 tries away.
Right.
And the
So he
good
can
news
reach
for
them.
him is that the current holder of the 230 is retired. So, and Collins is still playing, so he's got a
He's going
huge
to get,
chance.
You had to tell the ladies about his 200th try in the signature.
Oh yes. Remember there's a time there was a controversial signature he did on a camera.
Yeah,
In
£50,000.
London, I
Did
believe
you
it
see how
was.
CNN joked with
That's
it
what I
when
was
they were
gonna say. That's what I was
reporting?
gonna say.
Yeah.
You know, okay, fine. The lens yes cost about $85,000 US, but the headlines were killing me. Ati Collins Injera destroys a camera. I'm like, yo, calm down. Like,
You don't know him like that.
No, but think about it. 60,000 pounds worth of a lens is a lot of money. However, the cameraman
they can
didn't.
remove
The
it.
camera it probably now it's worth probably like 100,000 now or 200,000.
Yeah, it's probably worth much more.
So you did them a favor.
He did actually.
And well, to his own defense, he was asked, whether it's something he had planned. Because if you watch that clip, I don't know if we have it,
Yeah,
but he actually literally goes into his socks and removes.
He had a pen.
Yes, he had a what
was
do you
he doing
call
with
it?
the pen?
A permanent marker.
So
It's a permanent marker.
That is
So those
premeditation, Mike. That was premeditation.
Are you sure?
No.
Because
Yes.
he signed the ball. Then from the article that I read, he said, "Oh my goodness, the camera was just calling my name." Okay, not good for what?
Actually, his intention while he had the marker in his socks was to sign the ball after. And
right.
there we go. He signs the ball first. Then he comes and he looks at the camera and he's like, "Come to me, baby."
That is an iconic moment.
Absolutely. And the thing is that these are the things that make history. As much as he was criticized about that, if he makes it to the 230 tries, which I know he will, so soon they're going to Paris and London,
Yeah, they have two
and then
legs
we still
left,
have the Rio Olympics which are coming up. So he's
By end of year, hopefully.
He probably would have made it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
6
I think
tries.
he's-
6 more tries.
He's only
needs to
got
make.
6 tries to go and make it to the 230. But I bet he's going to beat that.
And it's going to be one of the Guinness
happy
World
for him.
Record.
I think
So congratulations to our 7th team.
Oh, they're great.
And I don't know if you saw those pictures of the president doing.
I was like, oh my God, don't drop it, don't drop it. After him saying they get to share 10 million, even I would pick up the president. No, but
uncomfortable kind of areas.
they must have practiced
Carrying him.
I think he was generally nervous. Evidently, he didn't play rugby when he was growing
sense,
up, but he must have been nervous. But
played
what is
polo.
also the other side of it is that it's all good that they're going to share that 10 million and that the president declared and said that anything that is outstanding is going to be paid off. But do we have to wait?
for something like this to happen in order for things to move
We shouldn't
forward.
have to, but we always do it. All
The
the time.
anti-doping bill. Now after that game is like, okay, fine. I
Last
will-
minute, let me
Make
sign
it
it.
sign.
So make sure you guys go to Rio. I'm like, did that have to happen in order for?
Okay, of course it was a jolt. Like sometimes something has to happen in order for you to realize that you need to do other things. But I think with this government, they always wait for moments like this to shine, because these are things they could have done. Like, I was shocked when the coach said that actually he just convinced the boys to play. That everything was never, it wasn't paid.
Yeah.
But they went and
Now,
played and
honestly
they won.
speaking, and even looking at the game they played with Fiji, they had this venom that they had to win. And by the way, I think they had lost to Fiji, if I'm not wrong.
In Hong Kong,
Yeah, in Hong Kong, like
previously.
almost
Severally.
4 times in a row. So this was really a great comeback. But what is also interesting is the fact that they were not just playing, first of all, they're semi-professionals, playing professionals, meaning that with the Kenyan team, they have to
They have day jobs.
They have day jobs. Whereas they're playing a team that all they do is drink, sleep, rugby. So of course that was really good. But of course for them it's more of a passion. It's a love that they have. If you look at even Collins Injera's story, that his father actually did not want him to play rugby, but he even went and tried to pull him out of a game one of the times when he was in school,
Are you
and he was
serious?
really cross with the principal. Why are you allowing my son to go play? But again, like the signing of the camera, which was initially criticized, I'm sure the father is thinking, it's
My
good that
boy,
I
that's
allowed
my
you.
boy.
That's my son. Actually, our son. My son.
No, and several family members, the announcement about
Yes.
the money surrounding them currently.
So even your neighbor's name begins, my son.
Yeah, and I'm sure if they go to the same church at a pastor and say,
yes.
Sikabaya. So yeah, that was also interesting. But yeah, we do have London and Paris coming up. Then we have the Rio Olympics. But also it was interesting to see our politicians literally saying that we have won the World Cup.
Yeah, they always congratulating the safaris.
Somebody even said Singapore Open.
Oh yeah.
It was a golf tournament.
Tennis,
rugby, golf, the all Olympic sports. It was one of them.
So funny. I think also, Michael, the other conversation we should also be talking about is that when some of the politicians like Sakaja and Sonko, yes, when they went to get them at the airport and then they later went to a ceremony for lunch, which I feel like we should have been part of. Food.
Yeah, you feel bad.
Food. He said something about them getting 100k each. There's always the question of, do our athletes really get their money afterwards? You know, we've seen it with our running athletes. When it comes to money, it's always
promises are made, especially in those what we call roadside declarations. But as to whether that promise is kept is another thing altogether.
No, I think Sonko said that he made good his promise, and I think that the $1,000 that was coming from KQ also was disbursed. But I think the other conversation between KQ and Qatar.
I saw you coming with Qatar.
Was Qatar like an official carrier for Singapore or for the whole series?
Qatar
or what happened
is the
there?
official carrier for the winners. Whoever wins, apparently.
Wins in any of the stops or just Singapore?
What I understand is that Qatar had sponsored the series for Hong Kong and this last one, Singapore.
Okay.
So of course you have different airlines that sponsor different times. So it's just that Qatar sponsored Hong Kong and Singapore, and the boys won. And guys were saying KQ should have paid them to take them to Kampala. Then KQ.
I agree. Actually, I agree with that. I agree with that. They should have come home on KQ.
And covered that part of Qatar. Because on social media it was like, does KQ stands for Kenya Qatar.
It was also, and of course the story apparently was the fact that KQ didn't know that journalists were going to be and cameras were going to be allowed. So they thought they will land. Then as usual, normally you wait for them at the arrivals. So you actually don't even see which aircraft they came in.
People have cell phones, smartphones, Twitter, WhatsApp. What do you mean?
No, you can see the t-shirt that some of the people wore there. There was Qatar.
Arsenal is fine, but Qatar, I'm not sure.
Anyway, moving on, but congratulations to the 7th team, and we're wishing them all the best, and hopefully now rugby will become a conversation that we can have, and of course we're going to be following the games that they're going to be playing in
I
the
probably
consequent
will
games.
go and watch them.
In Paris, London, please take me. Oh my gosh, let's go.
Move on, ladies. Another big story that was the KFCB CEO Mutua coming out to
Ban everything. Ban.
We started with a Coke advert, which of course he said there's a scene there that had to be edited because it was not fit for the Kenyan market. But now he has come out to ban other adverts, and of course the advertising industry has come up in arms saying, look, where do we draw the line?
I feel like for them it's not the first time. I remember when they had to ban 50 Shades of Grey and Wolf Street. Because of the Wolf
of Wall Street.
That's when everyone was like, the attention got to them. Then from there, Kenyans, especially with Wolf of Wall Street, guys got really mad about that one, and Kenyans just went and downloaded it. I mean, you're told not to do something, you go and do it.
But
Humanity.
right now, the interesting thing is that the discussion is really not about his discussion and his reasoning is that there is a moral fabric of thought that is being eroded, values that is being eroded. However, when you look at the mandate that is given to them by that article that they have, then you realize that they don't need to be talking about, especially the Alcohol and Drugs Act. There is an act like that actually regulates what it is that you actually do with alcohol, alcoholic ads, or even just drinking it and all those things. So everybody is feeling like, why are you taking over other people's mandate and ensure you're like a god who's all powerful, all everything, getting into everybody's business. And I think what we are all missing is then who is supposed to regulate what, where, and that's the discussion that should be going on, because he insists on family values. I don't know if there's an act about family values.
There isn't. Well, there's the constitution, but I wonder, should they be policing our morality anyway?
Listen,
Is it their place?
When he was on the last word, I remember he said, especially when it came to the Coke ad, down for Coca-Cola, because it was the most recent banner at least, he said that once they saw, because every advertisement has to go through them before it comes now on TV, they said yes, that one is good, but then they got feedback from parents and this community, society. So I said, apparently their action to ask for the 3 seconds to be banned was an effect from
response.
So then again, guys are asking, how do you then decide what you're actually asking, that this is rated, this should not be aired between this and this time?
Because they decided that alcoholic, you cannot advertise between now, where we are now, and about not 5, 10, I think it's 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Yeah, up to 10 p.m.
Which is fine, I think.
Which is, but I don't know which is fine how.
I don't think they need to advertise alcohol or cigarettes or any other kind of drug. Any time of the day, because people are saying, yes, because people are going to drink and smoke. I really don't think they need to advertise alcohol and cigarettes.
They just need to let people go and do it,
because people are going to find a way to do it anyhow. So I think they have got no place.
Obviously, as much as it's revenue, there has to be a line that's drawn to what content is allowed.
10 p.m. is fine, or 11 or 12
what they call the watershed. So really, that is after your children should be asleep.
But even children are not asleep at 10. If your child is awake after 10, then that's a whole other conversation.
10 o'clock, then as a parent, you know from now it is always to make sure that you're sitting with your children and maybe doing bedtime stories.
But do you realize that they are also saying that they will remove billboards? Yeah, apparently
for alcohol, and
they will remove, no, just that has any word that is considered or is looking like it is eroding family values.
Okay, I think that's taking a bit too far, because what are family values?
Yeah, what are family values?
There's a billboard that says that it lasts longer than your man.
Yes, longer than the girlfriend.
All right. Okay.
Your girlfriend's wings.
But I think it's a slippery slope, because at one point, as I said, they will ban everything.
Yes,
they will say everything is against family values. But there are some things which I think are cut and dried, like alcohol. You don't need to see a Tusker ad. You're going to drink a Tusker anyhow.
No, but you see the ones for like family
planning.
planning.
So meaning that you're okay with the alcohol being
banned,
advertised?
No. Okay, it's fine. It can be advertised, but I don't think it needs to be advertised.
Okay.
I don't think if they ban it, it's necessarily going to affect their revenues. I think people are still going to drink anyhow. For both alcohol and cigarettes, or any kind of mind-altering substance, I really don't think they need to advertise it. But when it comes to family values, where do you draw the line? One family might think that
that is okay.
People are kissing on TV is fine. Another family might think not. So how do you? Where does Ezekiel Mutua fit into that conversation?
On the one on the Bible, this is what he says.
The Bible. But the Bible was written God knows how long ago. Was it anticipating this kind of situation? The life that we're living.
That I think is a debate that we can have.
There is a whole billboard situation, and the people, there's above the line advertising and below the line advertising, and the guy is banning it.
I think the main problem or the question that we should be asking is, first of all, whether he is doing it within the confines of the law. Because at what point does he come into advertising? Because this is the Kenya Film Classification Board. So imagine, maybe it is programs, maybe it is to do with films that are coming into the country. But again, like you're asking, at what point do we decide which moral compass are we using, that decides this is okay and this is not? Because again, as individuals, we have been schooled differently, we have been brought up differently, and depending on the content, some may say it's okay, some may say it is not.
He is the boss right now. I think he will just bang like this.
He's the boss in business class, flying around the world.
Anyway, he is the boss. And again, talking about bosses, another story that hit or rather was a hot topic is Chase Bank, and the fact that it is now going to be reopened by next Wednesday, which would be good news. So anybody, if any one of you had told your landlords that the landlords are waiting August, Wednesday he's going to be at your door. But anyway, that of course is good news. But you know what I find interesting is also the fact that Kenyans were so quick to condemn and criticize, because there was already hue and cry that the governor had acted too fast. But at the same time, he's also again going back to the law, acting as the governor of Central Bank and making sure that your money is safe.
And you also can't ignore the pressure that he's been receiving ever since it went under receivership. He's gotten a lot of pressure, and now you can, if you have $1 million and above, you'll have to wait. But if you have $1 million and below, you want to withdraw.
Did you see the statistics? Kenyans are such liars. Did you see the statistics? Nobody had those millions. I mean, people people just have a couple of hundreds, and that's all right. People just need
That's
to
right,
I mean, I was
yeah.
happy for my girlfriend. Finally, she's gonna get her, and she's really been.
Is she going to withdraw her money?
She will withdraw her money.
Like all of it?
No, yeah, no, not all of it. She really likes. There's everybody who's in Chase would tell you that they love it's a relationship bank.
But now under KCB, will they have the same small bank kind of
We
appeal?
hope that it
or?
would be good because KCB is well run.
Yeah,
So let's
it is.
just really hope that this was a good thing to happen. Because in other cases we were just thinking it will go, up in
Like
flames.
the
and
way of Imperial Bank, yeah?
But this one we are happy. It's coming back. But the memes were interesting because people were saying that the yellows, the light skins that were there will get a culture shock. They're going to wear long skirts. They're not going to be wearing all those.
That was
because that was
one
really
of their strategy, having very young and
young, beautiful,
attractive women, yeah.
Taking
all your money.
No,
500 bob.
yeah, but then I think it's just Kenya's way of saying we breathe in, we are good, some money will be good. On 27th, I think people will be taking us for lunch, right?
On Wednesday, yeah. That's just nice.
Yeah, and of course it's also coinciding with the end of the month.
Yes, it's really good.
I know. And you never know how many. Maybe those billions in Chase Bank belong to some people.
I know.
Some people I know people.
We won't mention them, but people like Mike.
No, we will not mention them here. All right, so that's Chase Bank, and of course that's good news. But of course, like I said earlier, if you had told your landlord or anybody else, if that was your excuse that Chase Bank was imefungwa,
Pay your Dennis.
they can't pay you.
I will pay you on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, it's going to go down. Now, we also have the Devolution Conference that's taking place in Meru. And your take maybe on devolution. Has any one of us
Felt it?
Literally, because I know there was a story that was done where I think it was Murimi Mwangi was literally asking people, have you felt the effects of devolution? And unfortunately, it was not very good news. But anyway, let me hear from you.
I feel like the system of devolution is a good system, and now it only comes down to how our leaders execute it. If corruption is going to be the base of it, then devolution will not work. Whereas maybe you'll find it's working really well in other countries, but here it's not working well. Have I seen it? Have I felt it? To be honest, no.
Julie?
Nairobi County. Like I was saying the other day, the thing that we have seen happening in Nairobi County is traffic this, traffic that. Drums,
It rains.
rectangles, circles, triangles.
Maybe you have felt the effect of devolution, but you have felt it
Negatively. That's a way of putting it. But I've seen, like in my neighborhood, the hospital, the city council hospital, there are lines and lines of mothers because of free maternity care and all that kind of thing. And a few roads here and there, I guess, have been fixed by the county government. You can't really tell in Nairobi if it's the national government or the county government. In the counties, the milk coolers business, every county has a milk cooler. I think that's important for farmers. There's a subsidized fertilizer. I'm not sure if that's national or county. There's also the roads, there's the hospitals. There are things that are happening, but in terms of actually feeling, everybody feeling.
Talking about hospitals, I mean, you saw the article we did the other day, story we did the other day,
that was
in Kakamega, where literally it's deplorable.
not everybody is at the same level, and I think this is the good thing about devolution, because there are 47 counties. At one point, they're going to start competing.
Yes.
Because you will go to Nyanza, you go to some other county, and you'll be like, hey, this county, they're working the rooms. Or Machakos, and people will start seeing that they're actually supposed to be serving the people. So I think we're the ones who are going to propel them in the end, because we'll see this development happening around what's happening in my county. So I really think we give them time. I know they're stealing every last coin that's being thrown their way.
But they
will have to
argument
work.
that devolution is literally just devolving corruption.
No, they will have to work eventually, Mike. When we promulgated this constitution, we of course knew that it will take time to internalize certain systems and get them into policies that actually work. It was not a pill that you give somebody and the headache, just goes away quickly. That's not it. It was not an immediate thing. So it's going to happen. And I like what you're saying about the competition between governors and between governments and between even those people who are somewhere. We're looking forward to a few years from now where you know for a fact that if you want the best of, let's say we say that Meru is the place for I don't know what, something like Mira or something that is more interesting, then you know that if you go into that county, then that is what you get. And people actually maybe go and do that. If you want to go to Machakos, then they're for something or something. It means that the people within that place are actually able to reap the benefits of the government being closer to them,
Yes.
other than always having to come to Nairobi.
Yes.
As for Nairobians, you see, we are Nairobians, so the things we expect are a little different
Yeah.
from the things that people expect
In
the
the
other way.
counties.
And I'm sure that our governor is trying his best, but as Nairobians, we want quick.
Are you sure our governor is trying his
And
best?
I do not know, because sometimes, like you said, you can't be too sure whether this road was for the national government or this is something he needs to fix.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't know whether the transport system is his to fix
Yeah.
or it is for the national
There's
government.
still that
So
confusion.
there's still that
Yeah.
confusion between that, but I think I'm happy about it because we are talking about it now. We are
Yeah.
dealing with this situation. So therefore, there is response on a constitution that we all passed, albeit with some areas which
Yeah,
we
and
thought
again, I
would,
guess with all fairness, it is something new to Kenya.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously, it'll take time to get with it. And of course, there's still some of that confusion of what is devolved and some of the funds which the county governments claim national government is holding for them, and hopefully that's going to be sorted out.
But Mike, let me just say that I didn't. This is my county, by the way.
one?
The one that had.
Yes, the one that's going to be showing on your screen
Yes.
shortly.
This
That's
is your
really
county.
sad.
This is
Honestly,
Kakamega County. This is my county.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I thought that there was some time when he actually launched something about health.
Yeah.
And he went. He said many nice things about it, and there was even a whole advertorial in the newspapers discussing
About the health
about that health system. To see this. And as we come from these places, but we live in Nairobi,
Yes.
you see this, and I'm just like, I called my grandmother.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, and I think one of the calls, I think it was it, I don't remember who it was, but was saying that governors should, not governors, but even the county government should desist from just sitting in their offices and trying to execute from there. Because this was actually brought to light because the governor's wife was literally just doing a round, and she was shocked to find that. So by the time the cameras came in, this is what they found. And again, we also have the Siamese twins who didn't make it. And of course, if they had health facilities that would be able to handle that, possibly they would still be alive. So it's
For
really
such
sad.
emergencies to act very fast, like you said, they should have been flown in.
Yes,
Not
no, but
ready.
Zenzi, have you seen some governors actually buy a tuk-tuk as an ambulance?
Yes, I've seen that picture on
see
social
that?
media.
It-
It's so sad. I saw that picture.
Tuk-tuk.
There's even a region, I don't remember which one it was, but they literally have a tuk-tuk
Yes.
that goes into the into the interior, because no car can get
park,
there.
yes.
Again, it's an issue with roads. But that was the only way to. It even has a siren, and that's the only thing
But
they
it
use.
goes at how many?
Well, it can't access that area because the roads are that bad. So in some cases, I guess a tuk-tuk is all you can do.
Yeah.
But then again, I think in Bomet, they had some fake fire trucks or
yes.
something. So they're doing all
yes.
sorts of things with this
And the
money.
wheelbarrows.
Yeah, and let's not forget the non-carcinogenic.
She cost how much?
Yeah.
It was 7 million. But give it to them, those curtains repel mosquitoes and, fight diseases
Keep out the
somehow.
sun, unlike other normal curtains.
Types of slack. So anyway, the devolution conference is going on, and again, the other thing that happened is that MPs did not attend.
And senators.
Senators also gave it a wide berth, and of course, the argument was what is there to really talk about. But of course, we're waiting to hear what report the governors are going to give us at the end of the day. And again, elections are not too far off. I think we have just about 15 months to go before the elections. And again, it is a call for Kenyans to do the right thing. Because if your governors are not performing,
Do I vote them back in?
send them home, send them packing. And we do know that there's quite a number of new names that we're going to be seeing on the ballot
Yes.
for governorship. Nairobi, we know, is hotly contested.
David Waweru. Serious.
Nice. And Sonko also declared it.
Sonko is
We have
even
Kidero,
selling.
of course.
Sonko wants to sell his
What's his ring?
because he thinks that
needs to
being a
be
governor is
serious.
Like the way you're serious today. I told you.
No, I want to know what damn.
And we also have there was rumor that Anne Waiguru may also be going for governor.
All right.
So-
Actually, I told you there was a poll on Major one day, and I think Anne Waiguru and I think Johnson Sakaja as her running mate, they just asked people.
It works.
They thought that combination works, but I'm
That's
not too
actually a
sure.
powerful
Combination, because Sakaja has the youth.
And Waiguru has
the women, or has who?
No, that's the one who's At first she had the women. At first she had the
At
women.
some point she had the women, but anyway.
They're going to say women are their own worst enemies, but
We shall wait. We shall wait for the campaign to begin. I don't know if Zinzi is campaigning for Sakaja or Waiguru, but anyway.
none.
that's a
I
story
mean,
for
because
another
I'm just saying, like,
All right, finally, before we go to international hot topics, we have also a ruling that was given by Justice Mumbi, which was quite good for bloggers and also
Attorney
text
at
messages.
law. I
And
told
Zinzi,
you.
maybe you can bring us up to speed with that.
apparently within our constitution, there's a law known as Kenya Information and Communication, which was now termed as unconstitutional. This is what the and she said it's a bit too broad, and the government
vague.
defends and vague. And the government was like, no, we put it there to defend ourselves because we know there's certain bloggers or people even on social media. You might say something and it's false, and if you could actually be held accountable, you could go to jail or you have to pay a fine of 50,000 Kenyan shillings. But until this week, when it was named unconstitutional, guys were happy. Guys were like, bloggers 1, government 0.
No, but did you see the blogger in question?
Which blogger was this?
You know,
Which blogger in question?
this is what I always say. To whom lots of power has been given, also you need
much is required.
much is required in the responsibility. And I think the interesting thing about the law, attorney at law, is that it always depends on who is defending you at that time and what they'll be able to quote. Many times, sometimes you see a case where you think somebody could have won and somebody else wins it. So for this is a win for them, but it can also really open a really huge kind of
Another
one
mess.
because some people overuse the platform that they have and they actually misuse it. But then again, now this withhold, so you can no longer go and say that this caused me distress.
And of course, the police were using it to their advantage to arrest left, right, and center. But again,
now
in
we
the
can-
spirit of freedom of speech, that is a great win. And even for the media generally, because of course many have been arrested just with vague accusations of what had happened.
But there's another reason why she was such a hot topic is because for someone as learned as she is, and first of all, the first albino as a lawyer in
She's
Kenya,
great.
she during the 105 reshuffling that the CS,
She's going to Kericho, right?
Yeah, she's gone to Kericho. Guys thought she'd actually take over Justice William Tugo, who is about to retire a few weeks. Guys thought she'd actually be the one. So with her going to Kericho, and then you have this law that she's termed as unconstitutional, that kind of brought her as a trending topic.
She's always been a very interesting.
She's smart.
And extremely intelligent.
I mean,
yes.
she did law at the UN and then did her masters at the London School of Economics. That's big.
Yeah, that's
She's
an
really
interesting person.
Absolutely. So now let's look at a few international stories, and one of them, of course, was the Queen turning 90. Yeah, Royal Highness. And of course, there's a huge relationship between the monarchy in England and Kenya.
No, there was high tea.
High tea? Really?
You didn't go for
Did you get the invite, Alan? I didn't get my invite.
Oh my
God.
You should have got the invite. Maybe the reason you didn't get the invite is you didn't know how to hold the cup. You know, you have to hold
You gotta hide the
cup.
pinky. The pinky
Yes,
needs
the
to
pinky
be
has
up.
to be seen.
Here's what happened. There actually was an event. Yes.
Oh, there was an event?
There was an event.
In the UK or in Kenya?
No, right here in Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Really?
In Kenya?
Yes, we have the British High Commission. So
Have
of
they
course
had
they
the
will be
event yet?
celebrating the Queen.
I heard they're having like a big bash in June though, because I think she has
Yes,
two birthdays, the
yeah.
official birthday and then the summer celebration, so we'll have another one. Yeah.
Yesterday. It's interesting, the photo that made it to the stamp. You see, they still use the stamp. Remember the stamp? You know, they actually took a photo. The stamp. You know the stamp?
Yes, the time for sending letters in the post.
Yes. So they took a photo which has the Queen.
Oh, and there she is. You know what is interesting about her is that she still looks very young at age of
90 years old. She looks quite good, doesn't
She's
she?
doing very well. But of course, being the monarchy, she's got the best doctors. Everything is taken care of.
Her dogs also have the best doctors.
Her dogs have doctors, not veterinary. I tell you. Very British, I must say. And, look at that. Oh, isn't that so
That is lovely.
Made it to the stamp, by the way.
Oh, it did? On the stamp?
Yes, on the
All of them?
Yes.
And who's the young
boy is
fellow?
so
Who's the
cute,
holding
Prince.
there? And of course, that's the British.
The Queen and her great grandchildren and her grandchildren.
From medieval era.
It might as well be, huh?
taking this one.
But what I also find interesting is the relationship between the monarchy and Kenya. You know, when she was crowned, she was actually in the hotel on the treetop.
Yeah, 25 years old, such a young age.
Yeah,
So that is
25.
why and she's seen 12 prime ministers, 12 US presidents,
Yes, she's been there
Harry Truman
forever.
to now Barack Obama. I mean,
And she's the longest serving monarch, I think.
second longest.
She is not going to go
She bypassed Victoria last year in September, I think, or October.
Oh my God.
And nobody wants her to go away.
She's strong, look at her.
She's very strong. She still rides horses. Can you imagine?
She's
Yes, she still rides. And you know, according to her calling and her position, you cannot. She has to ride seated.
Side saddle.
Yeah, not the way we
You
just
can't just.
the way we go doing it.
Yeah.
Jump on a horse.
things. So she's still very, very active and very strong.
But is there a place for the monarchy in modern society, really, if you think about it? I mean, happy birthday.
There was that debate even in the UK, and there's quite a number of people who had even gone to the street to say that they should do away with the monarchy because, well, everybody should earn their position, but of course for them they don't, because you just have to be born into the family.
It's interesting, but another thing that was, now that we're talking about the monarchy, was Kate and William. They went to the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And it was very significant because that photo of Diana,
the iconic photo in front of the Taj Mahal.
They went to change that narrative because that she really looked sad on that day, and then they went and they looked really happy. It was a couple.
Michael was telling me, I don't know why he's not saying it.
Michael was telling you?
No, not that. But Michael was telling me that when it comes to the family, they actually don't have a last name.
Yeah, they don't.
Yes, they actually don't have a son.
Just the House of Windsor,
Prince Harry, Prince William, Harry who?
Harry Alexander something. They're like 7 names but no last name.
Can you imagine?
So if you're married to them, it'd be Julie, because clearly one day I'm going to marry royalty.
You have to. There's no way we are not
Peter
getting
Nyong'o,
somebody. So you'll be Julie Windsor.
That sound.
Yeah, Julie Windsor. Darling.
And then you wear the gloves.
The gloves, no. No, I don't want gloves.
You have to. It comes with the outfit. You have to. You've got to sacrifice.
Well, I'd be a very progressive royal. So things like gloves and stuff.
Let's come back. You guys stop dreaming. I know dreams and they're valid. But it's also interesting to see, I don't know how it's going to play out over time, that the Queen was actually crowned when she was in Kenya.
Yes.
But also Kate Middleton was
engaged while she was in
here.
There's something about Kenya.
Yes.
When you get married to a prince, they do.
Yes.
He proposes.
How convenient, because I'm from Kenya. You know.
You have to have come all the way. You have to have come all the way. So there you go. Finally, let's finish off with the elections in the US. We have Trump and Hillary winning the New York primaries.
Oh my goodness. First of all, New York is such a big prize to win.
Oh, yes.
And you've got to remember both of them come from New York. It's like kind of like their hometown. So guys were like, oh, duh, it's obvious that we're going to win. But it's not so obvious because, I mean, okay, maybe for Hillary, yes. For Donald Trump, he's gained popularity and it's kind of scary that guy could possibly be the president.
No, because the thing is this, he was the prodigal son. Usually there's always something about something that is not that good. So I think there's just a lot of these Americans who just decided that there have been things they're keeping inside, and Trump is just verbalizing. Because how do you explain those
You explain that most of Americans are just kind of racist.
Yeah,
and love guns and all this kind of.
That's
a bit generalized.
No, to see that is what it's showing. Because Trump says the most racist things in public and people agree with him. So how do you explain that? Okay, not most Americans. Trump supporters.
The only thing I am mad about Trump supporters is how they treat other supporters. Have you ever seen them at their rallies? Like I remember watching a video on Facebook where these people, they just do experimental videos. They decide to go to Sanders rallies and then they went to Trump's rally asking guys for a hug. So when they went for Trump rallies, guys were like, who are you supporting? And it's like, I'm not supporting Trump. Then you know that it was very vulgar, very, a bit physical. The cops had to come in. So the rallies that Trump has,
and somebody did a video about the things that he says and the rhetoric that he's kind of saying over and over again, and it's very violent. He's like, knock them out. Back in the day, if somebody came up to you, you'd knock them out, you'd fight with them, you didn't stand for this opposition. And his rhetoric about women and about immigrants,
especially
over and over again. And they had a clip of about 60 seconds, maybe over 10 or 20 appearances that he has made, and he's actually actively saying these things that is kind of polarizing society. On the one hand, people who are not, I don't know if racist, call them racist or something.
Thing really
and on the other hand,
with those kind of statements to see that he has that much support, which means there are people who actually subscribe to that, and a good number.
Very worrying.
I've expected that would probably disqualify him, but
it hasn't.
A bit about the primaries is that yes, we know the two winners were Hillary and Trump, and then they had the Eiffel Tower done in blue and red to kind of show the Democratic and Republican Party. But for Hillary, I think she's standing at around 1,300.
Almost,
She just needs a few more to get the nomination. For Donald is at 800.
Yes,
and then this kind of comes after the Democratic debate where we saw Sanders doing remarkably well. So
this time around
he'll do well, but Yeah.
But then again, Hillary, do you remember like when she was running against Obama and her and Bill Clinton, the way they came after Obama, and one time they even said, this is a guy who would have been working in our house if it was a different time. So they also had some kind of racist racial undertones. So it's hard to pick. Hillary is a woman, yes.
So I think both of them just have a past that is very
Checkered,
interesting. It would be interesting to watch who between them becomes what America needs or wants.
But then how would they respond when it comes to matters like Black Lives Matter? Because we know that's not the end of
Oh, my dear.
movement.
Black has not been mattering for a long time.
I think that if we didn't know that, sit on that, the way Obama has addressed the issue as a black president, it kind of gives it's comfort. It's sensitive. So how will Trump
I think we were
Clinton
lucky
address
that there were 8 years of good black leadership. I think we should take that, can it, be happy about it.
Well, let's wait and see. That's how it's going to go, because welcome, is it February? And we'll know who the president is going to be. But let's wind it up right there. We'll come back with the pulse in the Nairobian. Would like to first of all take a short break. We'll have some news update. Adhiambo Odera, who is a pop culture specialist. And your take on Had the Band. They've been quiet for a while. Are they working on something?
They are. We're just discussing them right there about their style and the way they're old school and everything. Yes, they're working on something. Last week they had a really successful live performance at the Alchemist. People were raving about it. If you want to really experience them, you have to experience them live.
But
It's
they
very
also
beautiful.
not launch an album a few weeks ago. This is April, like maybe towards the beginning of April.
Yes, they've launched the
entire album?
Yeah, that entire.
There is a bit the color of our.
Yes, yeah.
right.
That's the color.
And what I'll do is I'll have them in studio, then we can
You
get all this
should,
fast
yeah.
sorted out. So
You
that
should.
I love their style of music, by the way.
Then they
I
sing.
remember the first song I ever had that they did. I'm not sure if it's the first song they did, but
No, it was.
Ulisa Kiatu.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that was the first song.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And for me, it was the originality. The lyrics are different. It was a love song-ish, but I mean, Ulisa Kiatu, who thinks like that?
Yeah,
That's
it was very
creative.
Yeah,
creative.
it's very creative.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the spoken word in between
The
is really... Kwazai Palanda. But then can somebody please confirm for us that Kwazai Palanda is actually saying something that is illegal here?
No, it's not illegal.
It's the stage.
They take some new
Yeah,
Django
like I
word and then are being told
But
it's
you guys
I
didn't go
did-
to a music class.
No, I didn't music, but I
classes.
think, in fact, we had a teacher, Mrs. Amunga, and I don't know where she is nowadays. But I think that day she either didn't come to class, the day of Kwasi Palanda, or maybe that page was missing.
The textbook. Okay, the
You
difference.
guys are lucky the choice was missing. I just didn't choose it.
Or
You didn't do music
I
at all?
didn't do music. I did drama, but not music.
No, imagine
yeah.
if you combined drama and music. There's a course like that.
Now,
Like in New York Film School of Art?
I think for Zinzi, drama
called
is enough. She's already a drama
mid-Palando.
queen enough. We don't need to add music bit of that. Anywho, let's look at
gonna
the
play her
pulse
like
this
that, Mike?
morning. And the pulse, of course, is found in the Standard. So get yourself a copy of the Standard. But looking at the pulse, and one of, the top story is to do with something we alluded to when we had the
Yeah.
song by Amos and
Amos and
Josh.
Josh. Yeah,
And this
I
is to
think-
do with showbiz chemistry.
It's so lovely. I think this week these people have done really a great job at pairing these people. If you get the pulse, you probably really will enjoy this, because chances are you are enjoying these pairs wherever they are. The chemistry between them when they're doing their thing
Yeah.
is
It's
what
undeniable.
makes it take. So it's really nice. So anybody who wants to know how to pair up in show business,
This is
chemistry,
definitely the
this
one.
would
And
be
you've
what
got-
you
you've
really
got the
want
likes
to
of
look
John
at.
Anu and Moha. Of course, with their Jicho Pevu,
Yes.
and they've done so many exposés together that you'd even imagine if one does without the other.
It doesn't. It probably would be crazy.
Yeah.
And the other one that for me it's still, and I've always said this, is Willie Paul and Gloria. When they do a song together, whatever it is, it's a hit. It's beautiful. You actually want them to perform. That's why there was a time that Willie Paul wasn't performing. Willie Paul wasn't there, and Gloria was alone. And I think the crowd was just like,
where's Willie Paul? Yeah.
So with all his hand,
Another person that fits with Willie Paul nowadays is size 8 in terms of chemistry,
it's
working
also
together.
working.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also working musically.
My
It
favorite
was-
day is Shafi and Kalechi. It has got to be Shafi and Kalechi.
Oh, yeah.
Those two
That's
have
true.
had it going for the longest
They
time.
have. They
They've
have.
had it going. Yeah. But I think I also really like our Jalas. Jalas,
Yes.
Makideo, yes.
they crack people up, especially today. You know, they have this Friday. I think there's something about Friday parties. You actually would think there's a party on radio. So they really do it. It's brilliant. It's a good read. I think they've done a great job. Some, you know, people need to read it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
there's also on page 10, we have Grunge Attack. And this is more to do with fashion. And of course, since we are now approaching the weekend, this is really just to let you know how you should look on some of those functions you're going out.
Trust me, Julie has already declared that there's one she's just going to pull off tomorrow.
Oh,
So
tomorrow.
anybody going to see Julie by there, you need to pick it
Do you
up.
want to tell us?
Which one it's going to be?
Do you want to give us like, leakage of which one it's going to be?
Like a micro mini and some stiletto boots. No, actually, it's probably the middle one.
Yeah, Julie is
pretty.
planning some interesting stuff based on these ones.
Now that fashion has been foisted upon me, I mean, let me run with it.
Absolutely.
She's going to do it. But have you seen also, I think they've done a great job. Okay, there's the Frasha situation. I think if anybody wants to catch up with what Frasha is up to, Frasha,
Is he working on his own?
yeah, you know, they're doing solo projects right now. The three boys that were 3 units. So this is the equal third of the 3 units.
The 1/3 unit.
Yeah, the one who's not a third as such, but they're all quite interesting. You remember them for their bad manners and very ill everything. But I think it's good to find out what he's doing. I think he's working on an album by himself.
All right.
So all that has been given out in there. I thought that was interesting what they did. Mike just saw games, video games.
Oh yes, there's some video games here, and I think any parent would be concerned. It's on page 16, and games that people play. This is to do with video games, and my concern on these games. I remember watching one some time ago, and it was in a display somewhere where they were selling it, and you get points for killing. Which of course for me, really,
What does it say?
I'm left wondering,
For killing.
how is that a game? You get points for stealing cars. The worst bit was you actually get points for raping.
Are you serious?
I am so serious. That it was I even walked up to the guys selling and I was like, "Is this? Are you serious? This is a video
So I'm
game?"
actually hoping that the ones that have been reviewed here are not
That's
those.
one thing that
Yeah, I
Ezekiel
think,
Mutua and you have to
because I
get
think
right on.
If Ezekiel Mutua was to see
Oh,
Ezekiel
he-
kindly, I think you
It's certainly find this way. But of course, also one thing that I really encourage is that when you're buying games for your children, parents, especially now that they're on holiday, ensure that you sit down once, find out what in
it
that
is,
game, try and
yeah.
play the game, because you'll find that most of them, even looking at just the pictures on this,
People
it's
are dying.
really there's a lot of dying, there's a lot of blood and gore, and the gorier it looks, the
better it is,
the game apparent.
I'm sure game stores should allow people to test it out before buying it. I mean, that's what parents can ask for, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of buying it and then going home and then testing it out and you're like, oops, I just spent X amount of money on this vulgar
on
video.
people who are going to die. You get points for dying.
Yeah,
And for
I mean,
raping,
most of
for
them
raping
get
is the
points for
worst.
killing,
Yeah.
shoot down planes, which initially was okay-ish, but now when you get to a point where even raping is
No,
becoming
that's
fine.
crossing the
that is
line.
way
This
past
is the
line.
one time where we are all agreeing with Ezekiel Mutua. Please take a look.
And by the way, we're going to be having a game developer on Tech Central on Thursday, so of course we'll be finding
can
out
talk
what
about
kind of
that
games they're
with him.
developing.
Yeah.
And now that we're on games, I mean, some of the cartoons that are there, I remember watching, I think it's The Simpsons the other day. And there was a time I would sit down and literally laugh, but this time I was thinking,
The Simpsons, you can't really watch
cartoon.
But
It's for adults. Yeah. Just an
yes,
animated
but
something.
it's kind of changed the content drastically.
course.
There was a time you'd watch it with your kids and you'd, all be laughing with Simpson and his son and daughter. But now, even the content, there is gay content. I mean, it's, there's cussing.
But I think in America, gay content now is just across the board.
It's not being, in fact, I think if you do a show and there is no gay content in the States, I think it's
almost
probably not passing in the networks.
Yeah. So
This, at least Simpsons, you can give leeway and say, oh, it's a grown-up cartoon. The other cartoons, like, I am telling you the truth, I was watching Cartoon Network.
What were you watching?
With my cousin, and then a scene came by, and I was like,
Which one was it?
like a 3-second thing like that.
There is
Coca-Cola ad.
one,
and I'm like, what
there's
is
a
that?
cartoon, by the way, on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
That is, and I don't know its name. It's this new one that I think for me I'm just gonna lock.
No, you
It's
see
a
the-
simple cartoon.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, there's a time you'd know, and that's why now with the banning of Mutua and Watershed and all that, there are times as a parent you'd think, okay, this is safe time that we can watch. And you thought previously that if you're watching a cartoon, then that definitely, regardless of the time,
Have you
it
watched
is
Sanjay
okay.
and Craig?
Oh man.
By the way,
Have
that
you
cartoon,
watched Sanjay
secretly,
and Craig?
oh my goodness, let me tell you, that's
that's the one.
No, I only watched Dora the Explorer.
No, it's crazy. The pet is a snake. Not even the pet.
And it's its best friend.
But even it has certain ways.
Certain things happen right away.
A few things you said there.
Like what?
Did I blink and see it?
Like
wrong?
what, Zinzi?
Oh my God. You need to watch Sanjay.
Yeah, you just you need to watch it or stay away from it, one
Yeah.
of the two.
Oh
But
my goodness.
according to Evelyn, director, she says it's an interesting child.
Watch it again.
Now we know what she watches and what she keeps herself busy
And I
with.
think, Mike, I think they also did a great job in their overheard. There's an interesting thing here about somebody being evicted. I wonder who that was. Overheard. Yeah, and their overheard today is on fire, by the way.
Oh, yes, overheard
And
is a
there's some
segment
people.
within the pulse.
Yeah, and then there's some people dating other people's. Yeah, so snitching.
Sounds like a soap
interesting
opera.
stuff. Yeah.
And of course, the Pulse was not going to miss out on Shuja.
Yeah.
And of
That's
course,
right.
Still the Stars. And hopefully, anyway, let me not preempt, but next week, do stay with us
You're
right
hoping,
here on Morning Express. Fingers crossed, we'll have.
Mike, on that day, if you don't invite us,
Mike,
we
I'll
are
make
going
sure
to
you're
go
I think we're having who?
Oh, yeah, Hack the
No,
band.
I'll make sure that you're hack the band.
Having
Make sure that you're part of the guys
having
who do the
rugby.
camera work.
That, Michael.
No.
As a matter of fact, Mike, to give you a break, we can actually interview them. You can rest your voice.
My job is being taken right.
I know, right?
Can we move on to the Nairobian? Julie, what's on the Nairobian today?
Nairobi on the cover story. I am divorcing Bishop over sex, says his wife. Interesting thing, she's filed a divorce a court case. One of the reasons she's giving is utmost cruelty, because he did not disclose to her that he's a man of God.
What?
Is non-disclosure utmost?
What's the problem?
The problem was that he was engaging in extramarital abnormalities.
What is that supposed to
Whatever that means, I don't know. That's the interesting thing.
So you'll have to get yourself a
You have to get yourself a copy and see
Abnormalities.
what the abnormalities are precisely. But the man comes back and says that he really suffered himself. So there are two sides to this story. But I think the premise was she was pregnant and he was out there having sex with all sorts of abnormalities.
Marriages can
So she has filed
now.
divorce. It's
It
crazy.
is an institution which is under attack, and
It's crazy.
And
just one
it's
of
funny
those.
that it's happening more and more in the church, or the church cases are coming out more. I don't know which
Yeah,
one
I
it
think
is.
there's also the debate of really whether the church still maintains the
A stand- kind
call
of
of God, as it were, that it was
Yeah.
supposed to have originally, because we have a lot of churches that have really taken a detour.
Yeah.
And of course, they've become money-making dens and stuff. So, like the Bible says, even so, come Lord Jesus. He needs to come back.
Amen.
Lord Jesus.
Hey, he
Yes.
needs to, like yesterday.
On page 14, before Jesus comes. Huh? There's a story about a gangster's paradise, the evil axis between police and thugs. Just the other day, there was a story about how police killed 8 young men in a slum. And the people are claiming that they killed them for nothing, and the parents are saying they're children. Of course, parents would say that, but people don't believe they're involved in crime. They're actually taken out of a video hall and shot dead, executed. So, and this story is talking about some other thing to do with police, whereby police are hiring out their guns and their uniforms, they're kind of like some policemen, not all of them obviously, working with the criminals. So it makes you wonder, it really question your own safety, because you're walking around thinking that policemen are protecting you, when that might not be the case.
Are we going to also talk about page 6, the story by James Mwangi? Tastes like cuckoo, but it could be Marubu stock meat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is an
So when you go
interesting
order
one.
chicken, you're being given something else.
But what's wrong with the Marabou
But
stock?
are they edible?
Apparently, it tastes like chicken.
So
what's the problem? It tastes
And
like
for those who
chicken.
may not know what the Marabou stock
That thing
is,
has
Nyayo Stadium.
there are many of them on
The
Uhuru
roundabout.
Highway.
At
Yeah.
Nyayo
Just,
Stadium.
near
At the
Nyayo
Nyayo
Stadium.
Stadium.
And I remember one time, and this was really funny, because there was this guy who was feeling sweet in a convertible, driving along that road, and you know there's normally traffic. And lo and behold, there was a Marabou stock above his head,
And it did-
and it rained, and it was not rain that was coming from clouds.
It was the Marabou.
It was the Marabou stock. Let
That
me
was
know
coming
that
from a Marabou stock.
convertibles in Kenya.
Can't walk around there. Can't walk around there.
He didn't enjoy himself. But anyway, coming back to the story, apparently it tastes like chicken, so you need to be careful when you're buying meat. But then again,
But if it tastes like chicken,
yeah,
then
who
it's chicken.
Who decided that chicken is the only bird that you can
if it
eat?
tastes like chicken, but if you go that way, you might as well say you can eat dogs and snakes then.
But I think you
There are
can.
people who
There
do
are
eat
people who
dogs
do
and
that.
snakes.
It's a delicacy.
Yeah, and bats.
All right.
Okay, those are
Enslaved.
West Africans.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah.
The
Not
black
us.
So I don't know what your plan. Ooh, it just looks gross. But anyway, tastes like kuku apparently, and there's a guy there who's literally just chinjang that marabou stock.
Okay, can we move on from marabou stocks and chicken because chicken is just
I
chicken.
just love the page you've opened.
Page 28. Oh my God.
Page
Sex
28.
in the city.
Oh my God.
Plumbers fixing dry spells in Karen.
You know, I didn't look at it earlier. Then I was looking at it like, hey.
This Yawa, but anyway. I know Mike doesn't want to talk about this story, but it's interesting to see that there are young plumbers who are fixing old Muzungu wives in Karen, and it's not their plumbing that they're fixing. Young plumbers in
And you
Karen.
make 50,000 in a week. Hey.
Apparently. So if you want to find out about that, if you want to get into that kind of plumbing business, you grab yourself a copy and go to page 28.
Oh, you know, all along I'm thinking you're talking about literally like a plumber who fixes.
The photo is misleading. They're fixing old Muzungu wives.
Karen.
Plumbing issue.
Yes, plumbing. They're plumbing
They're
issues.
plumbing
Can we
issues.
just
We can move on.
Julie, I like the page also, the story on page 13. Apparently, we have a Mira ambassador, Rajesh Shilan, and he says Huru Ruto should sweet talk Wazungu to chew Mira. I'm like,
Hey, Mira is not sweet.
All right, all right.
Not that I have
Mira
ever
ambassadors.
tasted Mira, but I don't
Not
think
really.
it's
We have
Let's
Mira
begin from there.
Is it the guy who had tried to go to State House at one point? I remember there was an Indian guy who had tried to go to State House to talk to the president and tell him that, you know, he's willing to do whatever it takes to ensure that Mira is not banned in the UK. That was some time ago. So I don't know if it's the same guy. But anyway, there you go. It is banned in some places. Apparently it's a drug. But one of the things that it is said to do is to decrease potency.
All right.
So I don't
One more
know.
before you wrap it up, Mike, about Raila and his brand being worth about $1 billion shillings,
Oh, yes.
somebody claims. So if you speak his name, be prepared to M-Pesa somebody for
So
the
right now we
privilege.
don't talk about Baba.
Because you pay for the privilege.
pay for talking
because
about Baba.
when you say his name, it's instruction.
Get yourself a copy of the Nairobian and find out
An
whether
invoice is coming your way, it's in the mail.
Politicians using a
With the stamp of the Queen of England.
And Kwanza cash money.
I want cash money.
Oh, Aworo, don't
Yeah, what was
That is how they are collecting money for Nini. No, Kwani, that is a campaign style. They're collecting money for their Nini. They never
No, let me tell you, 2017
They're
is not the
fundraising
corner.
that way at
And
1
I'm not
billion.
usually this tall, but I'm sitting on
But
my
who said it?
All right, that's it. That's where we're going to wind up the newspaper review this morning.
No evil, yeah, no evil.
Yes. Oh my God.
Let's start with Zinzi. What are you up to over the weekend?
Oh my goodness, Mike. Oh, okay, this weekend.
And by the way, I got quite a number of tweets last week.
You asked me what I'm doing with my
I got a
weekend,
number
yeah?
of tweets
Oh, yeah,
last
please
week.
do tell,
And they were asking for your details, but I didn't give them out. So,
Oh,
what did you do over the weekend?
This weekend is a very sensitive and
Special.
a special weekend because not in that kind of way.
Which way?
But we are commemorating my auntie's first year since we lost her to cancer.
Oh, right.
So yes, so that's what I'll be doing with my weekend.
Okay.
So there goes my sleeping schedule on Saturday.
No, waking up at.
You'll compensate on Sunday after church. Go to church on Sunday. Then in the afternoon you can take it. I give you permission.
I
Take it
cannot
out.
wait for that now.
And
Yeah.
just relax. Julie, are you going to be busy like last weekend, where you're going to get out of bed and
do
get
stuff.
to bed and do stuff?
Hey, it's a good plan. It's a good plan to do stuff.
Is to get out of bed, walk to the toilet, and then get back. Like that's a lot.
That
Literally sleepwalk.
I'm gonna go. Wishy, Mike, you are so unkind. I'm gonna go to the hub in Karen because I hear it's very children friendly. They have like a lake and then they have and a cane and
You're
also
gonna check it out?
I'm gonna check it out with my child
Okay.
because it's very child
Fabulous. That's
friendly.
nice. Family time.
so cute.
At the Ambo,
Yeah.
are you also going to be at the hub at night? Because at the Ambo, I doubt
Is it
you're going
open?
to
Is
be
it
there.
open at night? It must be open
I'm
at
sure there
night.
must be a few.
I don't know if it's open at night. Me, I don't do nighttime thing. What are you guys talking about? At night doing what?
I don't know. Well, I think
Night is
it's
meant
an
for sleep.
interesting weekend. There's not too much going on, but there is movies and there is clubbing, and I will be doing both.
Okay.
All right.
Enjoy
That was
yourself.
the most exciting
Mike,
one.
what are you gonna do?
Look at you.
Mike, what are you doing? Are you gonna do stuff?
Yeah, I'm also doing stuff.
And you wake up at 7.
No, but seriously speaking, I moved to a new neighborhood, so tomorrow I'm having immediate family coming home to just...
There's a housewarming. I can be annoyed.
Please, no, it's not a housewarming, because if I say that on air, I'm going to be in trouble. It's not a housewarming. It's like, it's giving them the map to the house, so that now when we have the housewarming, at least family are not asking, ati unakaa wapi, ati nipande gani, ati I take which left. So tomorrow they'll be coming
But
home.
Kenya, feel free to...
Then on Sunday we are
yourself-
having what we call a Super Sunday in church, and there's
Alright,
food, by the way.
Oh, which Which one? Oh,
The
seriously?
crashers are welcome.
Yeah,
They're very
that's
welcome.
how
There's
it's open
food.
to you. Tell
There's
us when.
food. We start the service at 9 a.m. It's in Ruaraka.
What time is the food?
Gospel Assembly Church. Once you come for the service, you know what time the food will be.
It's a Super Sunday.
Super Sunday, yes, it's a Super Sunday. So that's what's going to be happening on Sunday.
That's
And we bond, we get together, you get to
nice.
meet people. Zinzi, by the way, that is a very fertile ground.
Nairobi.
That's where we're going to wind up the show this morning, Morning Express. Thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with some music. For those of us on KTN News, do stay with us. We've got the news headlines coming up, and that'll be on News Track. But first, some muziki to wind up the show.